to the issue of technology, which has advanced the way we live and operate as humans. And in this fast-paced digital world, there are so many opportunities to explore career-wise. But technology is the key of all inventions, and the way to communicate is through coding, as it controls the operating system of the device. And so starting out early and developing a skill and passion, especially in the world of tech, is highly encouraged. In view of this, Olusegun Idowu, one of the many individuals, he believes coding skills will make children globally competitive. Recently, he gave 150 children an opportunity to participate in a training on various computer skills, including web development, robotics, game development, as well as graphics design, Scratch program, artificial intelligence, and computer coding. And he is here with us in the studio, Olusegun Idowu, co-chairman and the chief executive officer of SR IPO Logistics Company. He's also a social development advocate, and we are glad to have you with us here in the studio.
Good morning, Ma. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome. So, Mr. Idowu, tell us about this initiative. We understand it's in the second year so far. Tell us about the lessons you learned, or the motive, and then the lessons you learned last year that made you carry on this year.
Okay, the motive for Olusegun coding class emanates from a quote I heard from late Professor Sam Aluko, where he said that the poor cannot sleep because they are hungry. He now said that, however, the rich are awake because the poor are hungry and cannot sleep. So for me, I grew up in Obalende. I've lived there for almost 40 years. I see a lot of people around the community that are not skilled. And I know that if we don't intervene, if we don't do something about it, it's a time bomb that is waiting to happen. So I feel that as against the regular complaints that people do, how can I bridge the gap? And I know education is a means of reducing unemployment. When there is employment, there will be insecurity. All of these dots connect themselves. So most people who are politicians, what they do mostly is they have what you call the summer class to just try and do that. I felt, no, this thing called coding is actually the future. When you understand this coding, programming, you are able to be globally competitive. So that's why we started out the first year. We started with age 6 to 16. So we have two categories, between 6 and 10 and 11 to 16. So we put out adverts within the Ikoyi-Obalende area. So they write exams, entrance exam, because the numbers are usually much. There are times that we had about 1,000 people who wrote the exams. So the facility cannot take more than 150. So we did that the first year. And for the first edition, they learned a few things around USSD and all of that, and they did quite well. So for this edition, we took it a notch further. Beyond just Obalende, we ran the adverts, so we had people coming all the way from Ogba, Palm Grove, Lekki Phase 1, Apapa, Lekki Phase 2. You had a whole lot of people, so that we can just equip them with these skills that our children need to be globally competitive. So that's...
And now here we are, second year.
Yeah. Let's further explore the reason why you think learning code is important for today's younger generation. Because what do you think are the real world benefits?
Now, if you look at emerging professions or maybe careers now, you have things like data science. You have things like cyber security. You have things like production managers, you have things like software developers. These are the skills that are useful now. You have a lot of people that have graduated today and are unemployed. But people who have these skills, there's a young boy, 16 years old boy, somewhere in Ekiti. He sits down in the confines of his house and codes for organization in the US and earns a lot of dollars working remotely just because of these coding and programming skills. So when you see all of these things, you know that that is the future. That's where we belong. That's how we can nip all of this problem in the bud. That's how you can solve this, our cyber crime. I told them in the course of this year's coding that the same attention you need to commit cyber crime is the same attention you need to do cyber security. If we're crying every time that our children are into Yahoo crime, all we need to do as a people is to change their focus. That attention, just put it in towards cyber security, put it towards data science, put it towards AI, put it towards robotics. When you pay that attention, you earn more money than doing crime. So that's very important.
And another issue is the fact that you are targeting children as young as 6 years. Yes. I wonder what your end game is eventually, starting them or trainees early on as against, the regular middle-aged or older people or the regular youth who would, embark on a course as this. I wonder why you feel, children deserve this kind of training as against the regular academic activities during their summer holidays.
Okay, some of the pupils that attended this program, they were hearing about coding for the first time. Some of them attending public schools, they don't know what coding is. And when they came and they saw the opportunities of what they could do, they know that with this coding, I can actually design a website. With this coding, I can design a traffic light. With this coding, I can design games. I can do so much with the apps. They know that, okay, this is the way to go. Why did I choose to target them at that age? They have a very budding mind. They're young. They're innovative. If they have these skills at that age, most of the problem we have in terms of technology as a nation, they're the one that will solve it. These children, when they know this thing more, we can in future talk about having hackathon where these children can sit down and we imagine a specific problem and just give them, okay, in 48 hours, gather here and solve this. And they'll be willing to do that. Mm. So that's my major reason for...
So I was going to ask about how it can help in problem-solving abilities and critical thinking in young learners, which you kind of spoken to. Mm. So, but I still need to understand how coding works because we hear coding. Is it the fundamental of technology generally? And how is it the same thing those who are internet fraudsters also get involved with? Because we felt, okay, sometimes when they are arrested, they tend to say, oh, we do this, we press this, we design this, and then we're able to hack into certain accounts. We're able to, get into something that we feel that has a, that is well protected, all of that. So how do you think, talk to us about how the fundamental, the basic, aspect of coding?
Well, coding in a layman language is how you speak to the computer. I have an idea in my head, right? With all of these ideas, you are able to use the binary numbers, right, 1 and 0, to be able to speak to the computer, to instruct the computer that, okay, at this point, this traffic light, I want you to be on amber. I want you to be on stop. I want you to be on red. I want you to be on go. That's what coding does. It gives instruction to be able to do all of that. Now, how does it compare with hacking and all of those things? for everything you need to do. You want to build an app, you want to build a system, you want to build a game, you want to do code, all of those things. Coding is the basic things you need first. So whether they are hackers, whether they are building another UX, UI, whether they are building another platform of whether Twitter and all of that, or Facebook and all of that, you need to learn how to code. So it's the same thing that they need to know. Those who are doing scam and all of that, they have a fair knowledge of what it entails. So that's why my emphasis is to drift their mind away from crime into these opportunities that are enormous, way enormous than what they can benefit from crime. If you have a society where most of these kids see that they can make a whole lot from cyber security, from Internet of Things, from AI, you would see that we would generate more money for government. There will be wealth. Insecurity will reduce. Even this max exodus called Jackpot and all of that, because conveniently, remotely, they will make a lot of money, and the parents themselves will be happy. So all I am saying is that I'm not just talking about the government alone. I'm talking about the big multinationals that spend so much on insecurity. Just look at in that your neighborhood. Pick 500-600 children. Run a 2-month intensive program around coding, around programming. Give these skills to young people. You might not do like I have done, because I'm targeting them from age 6. You might look at the gap of between 18 and 22 of a lot of unemployed people that you have. You can pick that niche and deal with the problem that way. I chose to do 6 because I know that when it's good for me to catch them from the budding state, where their mind are still very innovative.
Right.
So that's how
well, and another thing that you didn't say, but I can also, take as a plus is that, of course, we all know the struggles many parents have with, my child, my daughter, my son loves to watch cartoons, but, now that is the age where they would love such distractions, but, now engaging them positively. So when they go back home now, it's not like their heads are only filled with, fun through cartoons, but now you can now engage them further through the world from the world of coding. But after the training, what is left? As in how do the children go back to their normal lives? Is there a way you are furthering your engagement, your target relationship with them somehow, so what they have learned doesn't end with the training?
Well, it might be pretty difficult because you have them from different walks of life. You have people coming from Ogba, from Agege, and all of that. But what we do is that those who are the top winners, some of them we give them laptops, some of them we give them cash scholarship for their education. So we have a team who follows up with them. For example, this year, the winners for last year came to encourage the others. So we don't just give them the system and just go. No, we call them and say, oh, how are you faring? Where are you now? What have you learned? How is the growth like? So we do that to just follow up with them once in a while. Then 2 weeks itself is not enough for you to understand all coding entails, but is enough to spark the interest. Once they have that interest, all they need is to pick their mom's phone or pick their dad's phone and start probing about the few things that they have learned at those times. So the next session, they look forward to it. So if you see that our first session, we had a lot of people. This year, those who missed the opportunity last year, they were at the school. In fact, some of them who did not even pass the exam were practically crying because they know that what we are learning here is not available in the regular school.
Was it everyone who applied that enlisted into the program?
No.
So there was still a shortlisting exercise?
No, there was an exam. So we had to, because the facility can only take 150. Okay. So we had to ensure that these scores were a bit, we had like 15 questions. We had to put it at about 10 as the cutoff point for you to be able to enter. So children who score below that cannot. So you must.
I'm wondering the kind of questions that are put into that.
The words out of my mouth.
Yeah, because somebody like me, if you bring calculation, I tend to look at you like, what are you saying? Because I was made to run away from maths class because of my maths teachers. Militant way of approaching.
That's why people who do your job run away from maths.
But don't mind him. I'm sure he's still faced with arithmetic. Though.
Oh, definitely.
Well, obviously.
We deal with statistics and all of that. So does it include your ability to understand arithmetic equation, or what do we call it?
Right. Even computer questions.
If you heard me talk about binary now.
Yeah, it's just 0 and 1.
So it means that you need to know
some basic maths.
Okay, and of course computer.
Yes.
Is there an element of computer knowledge?
No. Even if you don't have computer knowledge, because my target are actually the children of the poor. Okay. So they might not have those computer knowledge before. Okay. But you discover that they're smart. Once you teach them, they pick it up, they won't lose it. So they come in like that. They're the one that came first, for the last one from a public school.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
All right. And, when you say children of the poor, one could also stretch it by imagining that these will be children who are basically from public schools. And I wonder what your recommendations would be moving forward, having engaged with at least 2 sets of at least 100 children last year and, now again. What place do you think coding should have in our academic curricula in Lagos?
Okay, for example, during this year's edition, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Dr. Hamzat Obafemi, sent a representative to attend. So I told him that the aspect that government needs to do, government needs to have ICT facilitators. Government needs to have people who will teach children coding here. All you need is just basic smart boards and teachers who are equipped with this knowledge to just start teaching them these things. So most children who are in private schools, because they pay a whole lot, the schools can afford to do that. But that will not be enough to solve the problem we have on our hands. So we need the public schools to actually engage our children in this coding. So by the time we're able to do that, sky is the limit.
Interesting stuff. We took a story on our channel I think in Abeokuta, of some students who designed robots. Right. And then they asked the robots some wiki questions, which it provides. We know that Google has gone far as, there's something called Siri. Siri, do this for me and all of that. So I understand that all of those things involve coding. So could you talk to us about some of the inspiring success stories of some of the young individuals who have engaged in using coding skills, to make a positive impact on their communities, and the world at large?
For example, the winner for last year, when we engaged him to come around this year, conveniently, he could design a website. Conveniently. The boy lives in Obarende, I think number 38 or so. He's an Hausa boy. The parents are so excited. So with this development of websites, he could be earning some money himself. And he's just a secondary school boy. I think it's about whether 14 or 15 years old. I'm not sure of his age now. So that's an achievement for me. I know that by the time he continues in that pace, in another few years, he would learn more. So, and there are so many others that did not even win, that might be doing fantastically well, that I'm not aware because of the widespread of different locations that they came from. So, but for the ones that I could see, especially those within our neighborhood, I think is highly impressive.
All right. On a final note, so what would be the take-home for you, or what was the take-home for you? Have you had time to review the lessons learned from last year's and this year's edition, and what should Nigerians or Lagos residents expect in coming editions?
Okay, well, for me, I'm a politician around Ikoyi Obarende there. So I feel that when we do politics, politics is a call to serve, is a call for you to be able to impact your immediate environment. So we have done the first edition, we had about 120 children. This second edition, we had about 150. So we're looking forward to the next one, not just in terms of the number, but we're going to broaden the curriculum in such a way that it would consider newer things that are coming up in the technological space, such that, okay, when you come and learn, and we're going to see how we can extend it beyond 2 weeks, because 2 weeks is just a scratch. It's not enough. So we're increasing the numbers, increasing this curriculum, and touching more people so that at least with the little that God has given us, we can impact our world.
I think at this point, I also want to learn coding.
I hope there's a place for him somehow, considering.
It's for 6 to 16 years. So for him, he's a big man. He can fund it himself.
Olusegun Idowu, logistics guru and social development advocate, thank you for contributing, for your contributions to society and your contributions on the program today.
Thank you so much.
All right, and just before we go, let's just tell you that the Legal Practitioners Privileges Committee has released a list of names containing senior lawyers who have been shortlisted for the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria, the popular revered SAN title. After making it through the rigorous process, now these individuals are now to be conferred with the rank of Senior Advocates of Nigeria, and some of the more than 50 persons now recommended for consideration are Chief Afe Babalola, SAN's daughter, Folashade Ali, as well as the wife of rights activist Femi Falano, SAN. His wife, Fumi, is now, she made the list, and Dr. Kayode Ajulo, a lawyer of repute as well. These individuals are among the many others who have made it to the list of names that will now be duly considered for the rank of SAN. All right, that's it on TVC Breakfast this Friday edition. Before we go, let's also remind you that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection at all with TVC News. Of course, Ibrahim Shita, what a ride it's been. This week, interesting, engaging, and Friday just seems to cap it all up.
That's right, and quite interesting thing that you will also be here tomorrow, for the,
all right, thanks for that. Thanks for that. So join us tomorrow for TVC Breakfast Saturday. From all of us here, thanks for watching.